Welcome to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman, the podcast that deals with the early life of J.R. Hendrick. And now, reading Home is for Healing. Bring it. Is J.R. and Jimmy. 12:10 a.m. Waking up and going into the living room. Jim pours himself a cup of coffee. He learned last night that Christine came charging into Kyle's trailer at 10:30, sending a reminder that Madison should pick up Elizabeth Marie in Washington. He turns on CBNC, but the society page on particularly about the Chester Lightfoot maternity debacle. How that Chester filed for custody all the way up to the Virginia Supreme Court, that they declined to hear the case. Therefore, he was going to be appealing to a federal district court in Maryland. 1:05 a.m. Central. Jim goes into the ranch home office. He swears in his anger that he is taking a break from the news until he gets back to Washington, D.C., the night of the 27th. 2:45 a.m. East a.m. Central. Elizabeth wakes up with abdominal cramps and decides to turn on the TV. She could hear her son-in-law putting around in the office. She assumes he's out power taking, which disgusts her. Politics is a dirty game. She always tried to instill in her grandchildren, but to no avail. Her husband, although a humble rancher, was an avid political pontificator. Elizabeth abhorred politicians. She ate them and their character for breakfast. 3:10 a.m. Central. At Swainfield, 10-month-old Andrew wakes up in the middle of the night. Madison gets up, but Kyle prevents her. I'll get him. You need your rest. You got to fly to Washington, D.C. this morning to pick up Elizabeth Marie. Madison gets up anyway, deciding to take the 4:30 flight to pick Elizabeth Marie up. 6:30 a.m. Eastern. At the Richland, Elizabeth Marie is watching the news and studying her political economy textbook, hoping that the news would help her make sense of issues in political economy that she is struggling in. 6:25 a.m. Central. Mumbling and grumbling, Christine is in a barn at the ranch, feeding 2 bulls that Kyle is getting ready to vaccinate and then take to Kermit, Texas, by 11 in the morning. 6:30 a.m. At Crockett House, I decided to have blueberry bagels and bacon with Kevin McDonald. Uses and gratifications of media theory. Kevin said, "Good thing I'm waiting to study this crap until next year. I just hope it's not harming." Not Harmon's cup of tea. No, he's made fast with the spiral of silence. He may teach theory of mass media, but hopefully you'll wait until the spring. I hear the dean sometimes like to have him teaching theory in the fall. Is it true that you're considering switching rooms? Let me room with Dave Smith, and you go with a kudzu guy named Charlie Nation. Charlie is a lot of fun right now. With the election, nowadays, I need more fun. You need to be brave. Charlie will psych you up and spin you round and put you somewhere you don't want to be. Yeah, I know. I'm ready for that. No, you are not. It's immature. 11:10 a.m. Eastern. Royal Christian University, Fairfax campus. Jonathan Edwards building. Elizabeth Marie is talking to a classmate and his girlfriend. Well, what I'm really struggling with is political economy, Elizabeth said. Well, with the family that you're staying with, has money and power, I don't see how you can, I don't see how. However, if you need help, I'll politics your economy. Just then, a car service pulls up. That's a Chrysler van. Madison opens the window and talks to Elizabeth Marie. Get in. Inside the car, Elizabeth Marie turns on Madison. How come nobody told me you're coming? I could have chartered a plane. Christine and Kyle asked me to come get you. Now, let's get back to the Richland and pack the things. The plane leaves at 5:30. (11 a.m. Central). Outside the School of Mass Communication, JR talks to Brent Clark. Having to listen in on Dr. Herman talking about a possible need to sever business from politics, JR said. Just ignoring him. He's an activist fanatic, Brent said. Just ignore him. He's an activist fanatic. Our daddies aren't. Hey, your daddy decided to go rogue and go away from Bill Clinton. My father hasn't. Don't tell me that your father doesn't have a missus on the side. Go ahead, you clever artist, Brent said. My next semester, we'll be hating our daddies again. He taps JR on the shoulder. Driving the Waxahachie. Now, if you go to the Holy Spirit Club, tell them I need your help. 11:30 a.m. Central. The private practice in Kermit has been moved to Lubbock. Kyle arrives there with a friend named Fonz Spaulding. Fonz, the son of Betty Spaulding, and the brother Nathan Spaulding, was a close friend. Fonz was running the ranch now, with his father dead in 1987. He tries to get Kyle his mind off problems with the auction and anxiety over Thanksgiving. 1:54 p.m. Central. Jim is angry because Claude hasn't answered his calls yet. He thinks he's probably stuck with Becky. 2:45 p.m. With still no word from Claude, Jim is getting restless. He still must be with Becky. Betsy said. We will call them out on this. Well, I ain't staying here for this. Tom's already got Amy Kathleen. I'm bored as hell. I'm going to Midland to the damn petroleum club. When will you be coming back? Suddenly the phone rings, and it's Claude, saying that he was tied up with some concerns regarding his son, Clayton, and that he would be there in a few minutes. 3:35 p.m. Central. Against the pleas of Charlie, I went over to the Public Affairs main lecture hall to listen to Dr. Kinghorn lecture about public affairs and how it has been shaped by the 1994 elections and Congress being in session beginning in January 1995. 5:20 p.m. At Springfield, Becky has called at least 2 or 3 different times to talk to Claude. So, Jim opens up the internet to read the Henry report. In January, John Henry was moving his internet operations to Bethesda, Maryland, to cover the impact of political news on mental health. In the lead editorial, Henry castigates the Wall Street Journal for defending Phil Lader and character assassination of Jim, even though the two never met. Henry was an avid defender of Jim Hendrick's policies against Bill Clinton. 6 p.m. At Springfield, the Hendrick family sits down for dinner, including Claude and Becky. Dinner was burgers, pickled okra, French fries, and Claude's favorite vanilla cheesecake. 8 p.m. The plane with Madison and Elizabeth Marie arrives in Odessa, and Kyle picks him up. They would go back to the house long enough for Elizabeth to pack her things, and then they would go to Marine World in Belmont. Now, Marine World was once Water Wonderland and Heroes Water World. Marine World was created as an indoor water park to take its place in March 1993 for both summer, for year-round fun. 8:30 p.m. The Newhouse family invites Elizabeth Marie to a party and couldn't. And true to form, Kyle becomes demanding. Listing what's going to go on in Marine World. So it turns into a bitter argument between Kyle, Elizabeth Marie, and Madison. Elizabeth tells Kyle off and storms out. At the party, Rachel Newcastle flirts with Elizabeth Marie. At the party, she runs into a musical couple named George and Tammy. And they got into a car and went to another party on the other side of Belmont, closer to the airport. Tammy dropped them off, saying that she was going back to the other party. And so this gave George a chance at the current party to go drink in Philander. 2:19 a.m. Jim wakes up after a powerful night's sleep. He makes a note to have his subscription to the Wall Street Journal canceled. Thanks to Claude, he had found a new fledgling newspaper of record for conservatives, the Fort Worth Times. The newspaper began publishing in September 1991, and ironically, a few months later, J.R. William Cower, its modern editor-in-chief, Liz Graham. Jim had also been advised by Bill Brittley yesterday that National Review would be a better alternative to the Wall Street Journal. 5:25 a.m. Betsy is up and hands the keys to the main cattle truck for Willie, one of the top ranch hands, to drive it to the cattle auction in Weatherford. Willie had family to go visit for Thanksgiving in Fort Worth, and Jim said that it was okay as long as he and the truck were back at the ranch Sunday night. At the same time, J.R. is swimming alone at the Sibley, having packed his bags the night before to head back to Swainfield. Being back on Swainfield was a place he'd rather be, because he would be spending Wednesday and Thursday with family. Friday, it was going to be having lunch and dinner with Kenny. He wanted to be back in Lubbock at 3 p.m. Sunday so that he could have dinner with Charlie Nation. 6:30 p.m. a.m. Waffles were for breakfast at the Holy Spirit Club as I sat down next to Jennifer Bowers. You realize that next Friday will be the last meal. You realize the last Friday will be one of the last meals I have with you. I don't know, Jennifer, please don't spoil my morning. We've had a good time. I want to keep it going. I love you. I know. You should know. I've been accepted to the London School of Economics and Goldman Sachs. I'm trying to cram in the rest of my junior year so I can be accepted into Bryce University and later go on to law school, Jennifer said. I'm sorry that this had to be. And you know, in a lot of ways, you were a nice guy. Better than some of the idiots I take back home. But it's only a matter of time before your father starts using you toward his power games again. I know, J.R. said, choking back tears. Jennifer pats her hand on his arm. I know. All right. What are you late for Houston today? I fly out this afternoon. 7:15 a.m. From his office, Betsy and Christine were sitting in the living room, clearly hearing Jim yell and swear, almost like back in his Air Force Airman days of 1969 to 1972. Obviously, he is giving Bill Mayer his wrath about releasing some data regarding him to the polls as a potential of any presidential candidacy. 7:55 a.m. I was leaving the club when Brent Clark ran into me. Hey, I have a flight to Waco. That takes off at 9:45. Can you take notes for me and mass media theory? Sure I'll do. You've been good to me. I like saying, all I was saying that I could do was return some favors. 11:30 a.m. Relieved that out. 11 a.m. In mass media theory class, JR is learning a basic review from Dean Settee. 11:30 a.m. Relieved that I was done listening to the dean's yammering, I was grateful to find Darren parked directly outside of Gordon Hall, and he had packed my stuff through the help of Adam Plummer. And then we hopped into the Hummer and headed to Whataburger. 11:40 a.m. Pandemonium strikes at Kyle's house as Kyle, Madison, and Elizabeth Marie got into a huge argument. Elizabeth Marie and Madison offered her leave to go to Houston. Betsy could hear Jim's distinct yelling at Kyle, not acting like a properly married man. She knows at this point there could be tension that could eventually hurt JR and upset the family. 11:45 a.m. On the north 23 of the ranch, Fawn Spalding talks to Kyle. How could you be so wrong? She's 1 year younger than you. And you're treating her like a child. Because she and Madison are acting like a child. Hey, let me get this wheat for you into the barns so we can feed the cows. Okay? You go to them. Madison and Elizabeth Marie are riding horseback on the South 23 of the ranch, and they stop to catch a breath. Madison breathing a sigh. When I first married Kyle, I said this ranch is beautiful. Shame to have to leave it. Just then, Annie Newcastle came up. Begging both of them not to go. Said that Kyle and Madison could work things out. Also saying that the Spaldings need to take their nose out of the Hendricks family business. 12 p.m. Con drives down the trail where the women are back riding horses and stops them. Ladies, I'm sorry. I have been such an ass. But ladies, please don't go. Let's go for a ride. He signals for Walden, one of the ranch hands, to take both the horses to the stall. The two ladies hop into the three-wheeler and they drive off. Hope you enjoy listening to the J.R. Hendrick Texan Gentleman. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and become a part of the adventure. This is the James Hendrick Empowerment Network saying until next time, take care and remember the rest of the story. It gets bumpy from here. No, more interesting from here.